Hello, we're here at In the Box 2025, and where we are with
John Clausen.
Jacob Beers.
That's right. Both of you are senior developers at Ortus Solutions. I did say that right. I didn't misspeak there.
Oh.
Senior developers at Ortus Solutions. And you guys both are a big part of the company and what we do here. And we're going to talk about some of those contributions in just a little bit.
Okay.
But first off, I want to talk about ITB. It's been a great week. What has been one of your favorite parts of ITB?
Well, I think ITB, my favorite part is always just sort of the community coming together. There's a lot of interaction. People get excited about new products. They get excited about learning about, excited to learn about things that they then go home and implement. And every year we hear stories about that after the fact. And so I always kind of look at it as the kickoff of the year because it drives a lot of our community interaction, but it also drives a lot of innovation for other people and for ourselves. So it's a good experience around.
Well, what's your least favorite part of ITB?
It's a busy week. I mean, you know, it's a busy week, and it's especially when you're on Team Ortus. You know, you're moving, you're in motion
working
a lot. So from a standpoint of being able to sort of relax and socialize, it's not necessarily as much there. But I get to enjoy the other people's excitement and enthusiasm.
Great. Now, Jacob, this is your second or third ITB?
This is my second ITB.
Second ITB. You are a newer team member. You don't seem like you seem like you've been with us for years with all the stuff you've been contributing, and you fit really well within the team. But what's your favorite part of ITB?
Honestly, I've had a great time this week. Just like John said, we have a great community. I really have enjoyed the organic conversations that have popped up, hearing about different side projects people have, and getting to riff on, oh, wouldn't it be great if we combine this and that? I've been blown away by all the different talks we've had. I've gone to a few that I really enjoyed, and then I also feel like I've missed out on a few that I really wanted to see. So I'm definitely going to have to check out.
CFCasts. They're going to be after the conference in a few weeks. I don't know exactly how long, but if you are an attendee at Into the Box, you can see all these sessions on CFCasts. I'm in the same boat, actually. I've been interviewing, doing things I haven't missed. But I knew that I was going to be able to catch those.
Yeah.
On my time after the fact. So, same question to you. What is the least favorite part of ITB for you?
I think it's probably the like going to bed at 2 a.m. waking up at 6 a.m. I'm ready for a few more hours.
Not as young as you used to be.
Yeah, that's the case.
Nice. Well, obviously, the big exciting news this week is
BoxLang.
BoxLang launched after about 20 months from the first commit to the first final release. And it's been a really exciting thing for all of us. And so I want to talk a lot about BoxLang as far as how to get into it, how to learn about it, how to get started. But really quick, just want to touch on, you've done a lot. You were there day one on the architectural meetings. And how's it been for you to kind of see it from day one to day, I don't know how many days in 20 months, but day 20 times 30 on average. Release day.
No, it's been really exciting. I mean, I think there's certainly been, you know, sometimes, especially like mid release, you're like your head's down and you're just charging, trying to get this done or that done or squash these bugs or whatever. And so you sort of lose track of it. But like when you get to a milestone, like a 1.0 release, there's definitely a sense of looking back and feeling a sense of accomplishment. And actually, I think that the other thing too is that I think that we knew what we wanted when we started. That hasn't changed, and I think we've implemented that and more. So
It's been a very satisfying
it's been a
journey.
absolutely.
Some highs and lows, I'm sure. You know, trying to get things work. Where does this work?
Yeah.
What did Brad break? Or Brad would say, what did Luis break?
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
It's like the Spider-Man picture where everybody's.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, they brought up the automated, you know, who broke the build, and Luis broke the build, and Brad broke the build. I don't see your name that often on the so-and-so broke the build.
I try not to break the build. Because I just run all the tests, and then I step away for a cup of coffee, and then I finally push when it passes.
So you do it the right way. You just don't, you know, throw it up on the wall and make sure it works.
Yeah, well,
you're thoughtful.
Everybody's been guilty of it at some point or another, but I try to.
I'm just saying
I try to keep that like last step before I push, just being like, okay, run all the tests, go get a cup of coffee, fill up, get a glass of water, whatever.
I'm not casting aspersions. All I'm saying is I see your name a little bit less than some other names.
Although I got to say, now that with the work that we've done on the speed of the compiler, I mean, tests now execute at like 40 seconds for thousands of tests.
7,000 tests. Brad
No,
told me
that's
earlier.
between everything. That's not between. That's not.
That's just the BoxLang. Brad said was about
I think we're
7,000
like
tests.
12,000
Are we?
with everything.
Yeah, with everything, it's
Everything,
12,000.
Like
Yeah, you're
12,000.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's
Plus,
it used to take 4 or 5 minutes, and now it takes less than a minute.
Yeah, more tests in less time.
Exactly.
That's great. So it's faster to break the build.
Yes.
It's more efficient to break the build these days.
Exactly.
The more tests.
You don't have to wait as long to fix it.
Yep. And then you, Jacob, one of the things I was very excited about, because we've been doing this a long time, your work with the VS Code IDE has just been fantastic. Because normally a lot of languages don't have this kind of support. And a lot of languages don't have this kind of support months before it's been even released. And so that's just been an amazing contribution you've been able to bring to the team. Can you tell us a little bit, well, tell them a little bit about the VS Code integration and why it's so cool and why you're so cool? Or why it's so cool. We know why you're cool.
Well, thank you for that intro, Daniel. We've been putting a lot of effort into the VS Code extension and the surrounding tools for it. It's really important to us. You know, we've, as CFML developers, I think we have all kind of experienced what it's like to not have a tool. That maybe you look over the fence and you see something and you're like,
Over the years, we've had HomeSite, we've had Cold Fusion Builder, we've had CF Builder, we've had
Don't forget Eclipse on
Eclipse
its own.
on its own. But wasn't there, after HomeSite, wasn't there another
There
Cold
was-
Fusion Builder on top of HomeSite?
After HomeSite, you had Macromedia Dreamweaver.
We had Dreamweaver. Yeah, we had that. So we've
Yeah.
suffered through no real pure challenging language support in our ADEs.
Absolutely.
yeah, but we're getting there, you know. And I think this past year has really been about laying a foundation that we're planning to build on for a long time. We've implemented the language server that fits Microsoft's standard for that, the protocol, as well as that for the debugger. And actually, Eric Peterson was just, I was showing him how to use the language server repo and how to add features to it, and he's already off to the races.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, he's added some language features, as well as he's been putting in some automated tests for me. So I think we're really starting to kind of fire on all cylinders.
That's fantastic. And one comment I heard from a community member somewhat recently is they're amazed that we actually have a debugger that actually works. Because I don't know if we've ever really had that in the
No,
code
you never
space.
have. I mean, the best you were
talked
getting,
about
the
it,
best
but-
you were getting from most of them was tooling that was more like, you know, can you like sync your files remotely with FTP, and can you get code coloring and stuff like that. But there's never been anything that allowed you to actually debug in your editor.
Like step debug. Actually, can you talk through, so they may not realize how cool that is or what that even is. Can you talk through that really quick? What is step debugging in BoxLang with VS Code?
Yeah, so I mean, debugging in general is kind of just this idea that when you go to run your program in a test environment, you run another program, your debugger, that is able to kind of control the life cycle of that application. So even as that application is just trying to execute instructions, the debugger can stop it, inspect it, rewind, move forward, all kinds of different things. You know, it's kind of like Doctor Strange. He has the power of time and can manipulate things.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
And,
That's
yeah,
nice.
I've been working on it for a year. So,
Nice.
so the our debugger specifically is built on a couple of different technologies. We have implemented Microsoft's debug adapter protocol, which means that it's usable by VS Code.
Okay.
The editor can reach in and communicate with it, and that's also an open standard, so we can integrate with other development environments down the road, which is such as none come to mind.
Well, I mean, I think it's a Java-based debugger, so I mean, it can be integrated since we have the the JSR standard is implemented in BoxLang.
Well, I was thinking,
We're like, I mean, there's just endless possibilities, and
JetBrains.
quite frankly, a lot of developers coming from other languages are going to expect this kind of support, and CFML is lagged behind in that, and so. We're just, we're scratching the surface with what's possible. We've got the functionality in place, and it gives us plenty of upside to do really, really cool things.
and with all these great features, that's got to be pretty expensive, I bet, right?
No, actually, it's not. Yeah, the debug adapter, the debug program is actually it's included in our VS Code extension, which is both open source and first-party supported. So you can't beat that.
Nice. And where can they go? If somebody wants to try it out, where can they go?
Well, probably the easiest way is if you're in VS Code, you can just go to the marketplace. You can search for the BoxLang extension and install it directly through there. And then we've got guides in our online documentation if you go to boxlang.ordersbooks.com, right? Is that it? Then we've got...
You asking or telling us?
Kind of both. If you go to boxlang.ordersbooks.com and you search for the VS Code extension, you'll find some documentation there that tells you how to run the mini server, how to debug it, how to run your CLI scripts. That's definitely the place to go to get started.
And I think it's important for people to know that, I mean, we're not just, you can use this to debug and do all the work with a CFC or a CFM just as easily as you can with a BX or BXM. So as long as you're using the mini server, because that is what communicates with the debugger, you can do this on old CFML code, start it up with BoxLang, and debug that way.
You don't even need to use BoxLang technically at that point. You can still do what you normally do with whatever engine you want to do it in, but have an editor that you can do all these cool things in.
Well, you can't do this step debugging with
but
Adobe
the code
or
syntax highlighting.
Right, exactly. You still got all the other
cool
stuff.
features you can
Exactly.
definitely do with.
Exactly.
Nice. Now, one question I've heard this week, there's been a lot of excitement. We've had, for at least 3, currently on day 1, have applications in production running BoxLang. Not testing, but actually in production. And a question I get a lot from is, how can I get started? Well, John, what would you recommend to somebody coming up here? Let me lay out a couple different scenarios, because I think the answers will depend.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in and I'm already a command box user and code box user, and I'm using one of the CF engines, and I want to use BoxLang, what's the path of least resistance?
Well, I think if you're talking about somebody who already has existing CFML code that they have that they want to try out, the easiest way to do that, quite frankly, is simply to, if you're already using command box, open up VS Code, install the extension, change your server.json file, put BoxLang as your engine, and put JDK21. There's a couple, you want to make sure that you have a script to install the modules, which will be part of that. All that information is in the docs. And then you can go up and start up your existing app. You'll definitely want the CFML compat module installed. Then start up your existing app and take a look at it. There may be some changes, some things that are a little different, but for the most part, you're going to get that compatibility, but you're also going to get all the benefits of the new language features and the IDE debugging and things like that. Now, if you're looking just to play, best idea that I can give you is just simply get the VS Code extension, install the BoxLang, get the VS Code, get the extension, install the mini server, and then just go ahead and write some code, start it up, and play. Nice. So I think there's a lot of different paths for different people with different backgrounds and different needs, but the easiest way for you to play or test is going to be through the extension.
Through the extension?
Although I will add that we do have tryboxlang.io as well. And that's maybe if we're talking about the serious thing is converting your existing CFML app, playing around is starting up the mini server, maybe goofing off is going to tryboxlang.io, and you can write a quick script there.
Yeah.
Just to technically execute some
Or
code.
just see how the functions work, like all the built-in functions. And I think that's something that from people coming from a lot of other languages, we obviously this podcast, there's going to be a lot of CFML developers who are familiar with having many built-in functions. But from a lot of other languages, there's only a handful of built-in functions, and everything else is namespaced or part of an object or anything like that. Right, exactly. So getting a chance to play around with some of those built-in functions that make productivity so much faster. You can do that with tryboxlang and very easily get an understanding of what everything does.
Nice, and I'm sure a much more complicated scenario might be if they're using one of the other engines, they've never used command box, they've never used ColdBox, they're just, hey, I've heard BoxLang is cool, it's a drop-in CFML replacement, among many other things, but we're talking to the CF developer right now, and they want to get started. What would be the path of least resistance for them?
Well, I think the path of least resistance is to start up your old code on BoxLang. I mean, to me, that makes sense. But if you're looking at trying out BoxLang, then just what we've talked about, the steps of getting VS Code, installing the extension. You can start it up on command box. You can, if you're developing you can still use the extension to develop on your old engines as well too.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, if you haven't used command box or anything like that, or maybe you're not even familiar with VS Code, maybe you use Notepad++ and no command line utilities. You're used to a more traditional server install. We do provide scripts for that as well. So you could give that a shot if you want to.
Yep. And I also, I thought I saw something, it might have been a little while, that we've got some tooling that'll maybe scan your code base and flag anything that might need to be updated. Can you talk about that?
And that's all part of the IDE now. Jacob
Oh,
has
it is all integrated.
added that.
Oh, man.
So you can just simply run the feature audit from a particular directory and determine what functions are maybe not supported in your code based on what modules you have installed. You can install some additional modules and see what's available to you.
So that includes the CFML compatibility.
Yep.
Now, how much does that cost?
That is also free.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Look at you.
Yep. And it's very easy to access because all you have to do is from within VS Code, you just open up the command palette and go to the tasks section. And then there's a BoxLang folder there that has a couple of different automatically suggested tasks for you. And feature audit is one of those.
Nice. Now we're talking about all this great documentation. You can go to boxlang.ordersbooks.com, boxlang.io, try.boxlang.io. I made fun of you earlier for not being familiar with and now I'm
Well,
like,
if you just go to boxlang.io, you've got the links to everything else. So if that's your jumping off point, you're in good hands.
boxlang.io. But what I was also going to ask, is there another maybe site we haven't talked about yet that might, I don't know, say have video content, or you may, some sort of academy? I'm trying to feed you guys here. Some sort of BoxLang academy. That's
You're
something
right.
you can
Although,
go
I mean,
to?
we just launched a couple days, so we haven't downloaded anything from it yet. But I would expect that you're going to start to see more and more content being populated there, and that's a great place to go get video content. We have a lot of videos. We even have some videos from the old platform that we'll be porting over. So there'll be we'll be continuing to populate that content, and hopefully we'll have a lot of information there.
Yep. And right now, at least for the foreseeable future, Luis said, I think the next year, all that content on the BoxLang Academy is going to be free. So, and I bet there's probably videos that you probably made, not to put you on the spot, about how to work with the VS Code IDE.
Yeah, there might be.
He's like, I don't know, I was coding, they told me to make a video, so I did. Boom.
Yeah, that's happened a few times, yeah. And but to that point, I think even if there isn't now, I'm sure that there will be in the very near future. We've taken some time to cut a few short little clips, like YouTube Shorts, kind of, and share those out. So I'm sure that those will be up there pretty soon.
Yep. So if you want to get started with BoxLang, there's all these different resources. Also, they could probably ping us in different places, such as Slack.
Yeah, absolutely. In CFML Slack, or if they're a member on the Box team Slack, they can always ping us there. But yeah, by any means. And also, if you just want to reach out, get more information about BoxLang, licensing, transitioning from older legacy CFML servers, you can always just contact us at boxlang@ordersolutions.com.
Yep. And we also got the community site and the community forums, so you can go on there and submit any social media really that, I think Brad said if you even mention BoxLang anywhere, he'll just like appear.
He does. He magically appears.
Magically appears.
Is that a feature or a bug?
Well, it depends on, I guess, if he's had his coffee or not.
Yeah.
Which Brad are you getting? Are you a good witch or a bad witch? It depends on fixing a bug. Well, it's funny, we were talking to him about, I asked him, like, what's the least favorite part of ITB? He's like, staying up to 3 a.m. every day, fixing bugs. I'm like, you fixed the bug that you made at 2 a.m. maybe? Is that the issue? But, so,
Yeah, but Brad doesn't wake up until like 10 a.m. So
Yeah,
it's ITB week. So
Yeah.
he's...
Yeah, but he also left HappyBox early to go and fix bugs. So he says he doesn't like it, but I think he likes it.
He likes it.
well, it's a thing. Once it's and that's been. I think we're all passionate about it, especially as now that we have a release out there and people are finding some things that we're surprised we haven't even found before. We're passionate about getting those things taken care of.
We are. We have a pretty proven track record as a company. Ordis does. If you find a bug, we fix it. A lot of times we'll see something come up and there's a bug and blah, blah, blah. And Luis is like, fixed. And then, so you know us, people. We've been around a long time. We've been doing this a long time. We care. We're passionate. And you can do almost everything you want to do with the open source BoxLang version. But there's a couple things that, if you're more enterprisey, that aren't going to be free. And so is there something like, if I want to get a BoxLang plus plan, or a plus plan, I'm not sure why I'm being tongue-tied with that. I don't know why I'm looking at you either. With the BoxLang plus plans, what are some of the commercial offerings that we have or maybe we'll have coming?
Well, I think the first thing that a lot of enterprise users need, and also quite honestly, I mean anybody needs who's using this software in business is support. There's that. And the levels of support change between the Plus and the Plus Plus plans. The first thing you get, though, with the Plus plans is additional modules and additional functionality.
The Redis, correct?
Well, you're going to have the caching extensions alone. Those, right now you've got in-memory caches, but if you want to cluster and you want to scale, you can go ahead and install distributed caching, whether it's Redis, Mongo, Couchbase, however you want to do it, and have that functionality available to you with just using the Plus license. But on top of that, you also get built-in technical support. There's a lot of different features that are part of that. And then with the Plus Plus, you've got dedicated support. You've got a single point of contact. You've got a dedicated engineer. You've got service level agreement turnaround times. So I think when we look at it from a standpoint of, there's a lot of folks out there that are going to be perfectly happy with the open source edition. We hope they do.
Use open source,
and we
do
want
a lot
them
of great
to.
things.
It's going to always be open source. We want people to use it. At the same time, we also want to offer options. And the other side of it is if folks want functionality or they want to sponsor modules, we can certainly do that too.
Yeah, if they want some of those enterprise-y features, the licensing costs are pretty reasonable,
Right.
compared to say other languages that might be out there.
Right.
And transparent. That's right. But really, I think the support thing is huge, because I don't know how many languages for what we're charging for the Plus and Plus Plus. How many languages are you going to get that kind of support for that price point?
Absolutely.
Not very many.
Absolutely.
Not
And
very
there's
many.
some really good examples of companies out there that have used this same open source module. And one of the things that also these licensing plans do is they fuel and drive the development of the open source engine as well too. So it's not just about what you get and what the features. It's that you're actually driving the future and you're enabling the future of the product that you're licensing. And I think that too often times when we talk about licensing, especially in CFML history, it's been about monetization. And if I'm going to iterate a release, I'm going to iterate it so that I can add some features just to make monetizing justified.
But you just made a great point. You talked about if there's something, so if you're a Plus or Plus Plus subscriber, or anyone for that matter, and there's a functionality in BoxLang that you need that it doesn't do yet, you can sponsor it.
Absolutely.
How many other languages can you do that? I know you can't do that with some of the others in the space we're talking about, but you need it, we'll help you do it. I mean, it might not be on our priority list, we might get to it anyway, but if you sponsor it, that jumps you to the head of the queue, and I think it's part of what you meant by help shaping the direction of the language of the platform.
Yep, absolutely. There are certain functionality that's been part of the history of CFML that takes a lot of squeeze just to get a very small amount of juice that only a few people use. But if that juice is worth the squeeze to you, then absolutely contact us and we'll bump you to the front of the line.
And quite honestly, you can't get that with certain languages. I mean, you could certainly support them, but they're not going to just build, BX whatever you need because you need it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so this has been great. It's been a really great week hanging out with both of you. I always look forward to one of my
Likewise.
favorite parts of ITB is seeing everybody, seeing you guys, seeing all the attendees. It's kind of like a family reunion every year where we get to see,
Absolutely.
you've grown. How are the
Absolutely.
kids? And
Yep.
how's everything else going?
And every year we get new people that over the past
do.
year that have discovered or are inspired, and they come. We have a attendee from Madagascar this year.
Yeah, I heard. That was awesome.
Who is just super excited. Has been a great attendee and has asked a lot of great questions. And we're just happy to have anyone here and happy to teach and learn.
Yeah, we had another attendee that he's not even in the Code Fusion space. He just heard there was a conference here, heard about BoxLang, thought it sounded interesting, and just came.
Nice.
It's almost off the street almost with the.
Yeah.
And I talked to him yesterday. He's a great guy and does some really cool things. He's like, BoxLang, I can use some of that. So anything else you want to tell people getting started with BoxLang? Final thoughts?
No, but you have a community around you and a community of Ortusians, if you will, that
How
would
do you
be
say it?
very
Ortusians?
happy with what we do sometimes. But we'd be happy to help and happy for you to reach out to us. We'll try to point you in the right direction for anything you want to learn. And we most of us work here because we love not only what we do, but we love contributing back to a community. And
Passionate.
Yep.
Jacob, any last thoughts on the VS Code extension that you want to use? I'm pointing at the people out there.
No, I think we've covered a lot of great things. I guess the last thing I would say is just that we're really looking forward to the things that are to come. We have a good plan of how we're going to keep up this pace throughout the next year and continue to release things at a steadily and consistently, and hopefully keep the conversation going. We want it to be a back and forth with the community where people are sharing their ideas with us, and then we're also showing what that could look like and executing on it too. So.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jacob. And we'll see you later on.
All right.